55, Tinker Mitchell. 57, Joshua Luna. 59, Jose Gonzalez. 61, Josiah Maldonado. 63, Joaquin McCord. 65, Luis Mendoza. 67, Elon Cripps. 69, Rocco Clark. 72, Miguel Mungua. 73, Andrew Ramirez. 75, Adrian Barragon. 76, Kanem Sampson. 79, George Soroya. 81, Rudy Sandoval. 83, Daniel Arenado. And number 87, Kane Morfin. The Wildcats are coached by the Mount Baker graduate, Mr. Jason Smith. Now for the Mount Baker Mountaineers, number 2, Landon Smith. Number 3, Caleb Horseman. Number 4, Luke Smith. Number 5, Wyatt Pettigrew. Number 9, Marcus George. Number 10, Brent Anderson. Number 12, Landon Hanstead. Number 14, Elias Maddock. Number 19, Gavin Beeson. Number 20, Wilhelm Mallory. 22, Jesse Sandy. 23, Benjamin Johnny. 24, Dylan Moa. 25, Brady Bruin. 26, Kevin Tucker. 31, Sean Duggar. 32, Bryson Moa. West. 50, Cameron Heisek. 53, Joel Robles. 55, Jordan Hughes. 56, Adley Whitworth. 57, Vance Lawrence. 58, Drake Hickey. 61, Edwin Arsenio. 64, Thayer Brown. 67, Ethan Larson. 74, Jesse Harwood. 77, J.J. Madera. 79, Ernesto Altona. 81, Alex Megalona. 82, Ryan Carter. 83, Canyon Staton. 87, Alder Girardi. 89, Logan Reeves. 90, Caden Mosier. And 99, Alex Mallory. And the Mountaineers are coached by Mr. Ron Lecker. Officials for tonight's game as we get ready for the coin toss will be referee John Williams, umpire Gene Hayward, head linesman Sam Nishi, line judge Kyle Blackburn, back judge Jock Henry, and the alternate is Alan Moore. Now Baker captains. Number 3 is Caleb Horseman. 22, Jesse Sandy. 64 is Thayer Brown. Number 5, Wyatt Pettigrew. And number 19, Davin Beeson.
The Washington State football playoffs began yesterday with a mess of games all over the region here in the state of Washington, as it is officially playoff football season. And so tonight we bring to you a first-round game between two close seeds. The number 9 seed Toppenish Wildcats unfortunately traveling all the way from the Yakima Valley up here to Bellingham, Washington, home and side here for the Mount Baker hosted game here tonight. Hello, welcome everybody. My name is Antonio Tony D. Dominguez. Well, for the first time in about 27 years, the Toppenish Wildcats have made their first appearance in that time here tonight in the state playoffs. Last time they were in the state playoffs was way back in the 90s. 97, I believe. No, 92, 93, I believe I wrote that somewhere down here. 24 years in 97. Last time the Toppenish Wildcats were in the state playoffs, losing in that last contest to Cascade Leavenworth at the time. Well, we have a game for you here, folks. We thought we were not going to be able to bring you this game here. Last-minute call-ups, and luckily we were able to get our THS digital media crew ready to go and literally in a little under 48 hours plan all of this thing out. Finding out that this was not going to be broadcast live, but guess what? The THS digital media crew is always going to be here when we can, how we can, bring to you the best content we have, especially for the most historic moments here on the THS Digital Media Network. Pledge of Allegiance, National Anthem, going to be played here tonight by the Toppenish High School Band. And so we're going to take a break, be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Getting ready for kickoff here between these two state playoff teams, the number 9 seed Toppenish Wildcats and the number 8 seed Mount Baker Mountaineers here at the one region. Definitely a lot of levels of football here in the state of Washington, 6 of them to be exact at the 1B level. Of course, you got the 8-man, of course, 12-man up in the 2B, and then 1As, 2As, 3As, 4As, 6 levels of division of football here in the state of Washington. So wherever you may be joining us, we know we are worldwide now. Thank you for joining us here only on the THS Digital Media Network. Playoff time, playoff football, and here we go. Glad you can join us. Of course, if you are from the Yakima Valley area, tune in to reading those online articles by the local newspaper, and of course by our very own Jeff Play Sports, commenting on the results of how we got here. Of course, many throughout the community in Toppenish and even throughout the Yakima Valley having differences of opinion on the seeding of this game. But fortunately, it's still game time. Here we go. First time in 27 years, and the Wildcats going to take it up. Shin Rivera trying to move through, still moving the pile, and down he goes near the 36-yard line. That's going to be the first possession here for the Toppenish Wildcats, and out comes Joshua Perez and crew. 2 major weapons at his disposal. His stud wide receiver, Jason Grant, with well over 21 touchdowns here this season. Actually, we can take a look at exactly how many he has. 16 receiving, but he also has multiple touchdowns on the defensive side, so 20-plus overall total touchdowns. We'll take a look at those statistics later. So here we go, Josh Perez Grant in motion. Dump off over to Grant. Able to slip through a tackle. Trying to find somewhere. Oh no, being met by trouble. And luckily, just making it to the line of scrimmage. Trying to set up a trick play, but wasn't anything there. And you got to admit, the Toppenish Wildcats trying to come up with some trick plays, trying to get this Mount Baker Mountaineer defense off balance. They want to do the best that they can, and you got to pull out some tricks sometimes. Didn't work out that well that time. 2nd down and 10 to go. Torres receiving it, finding a cutting lane, going inside and getting about 2 yards on that one.
Marcus George is the first one in there for the Mountaineers, along with Vance Lawrence.
2-yard gain there by Jose Torres, who became a 1,000-yard rusher last week, posting 100-plus yards. Only needed about 40 or so yards to get to 1,000 yards, but definitely put in the work. Disappointed from the previous week before in the game versus Zilla, not posting up the stats that he wanted to, redeem himself with the final regular season game, and a game that sent them to state. Sam Maldonado dumping it off to him. Can't find anywhere to go and stopped right behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of 2.
The pass is complete to number 3, Isaiah Maldonado.
So tough start here for the Wildcats as their offense hasn't found any breathing room so far here in the first series. They're going to be forced to punt.
The 4th down for the Wildcats.
So here we go as Joshua Perez will get ready to send this one off. That one's off. And it's bouncing as the Mountaineers are going to stay away from it, and the Wildcats are going to be able to get a good punt off in this one. Going to start off at their own 30-yard line. All right, time for the Mount Baker Mountaineers. For those of you who don't know from the Toppenish community in the Yakima Valley area, well, Coach Jason Smith having some ties here to Mount Baker in the Bellingham area. Of course, where he grew up with his football roots under his old mentor. Here, the head coach, Ron Lepper, among many. And so here we go. Under the power formation, quarterback David Beeson, and false start's going to be going first. First penalty of the game here going to go on the Mount Baker Mountaineers. And that's one of the things you want to avoid, especially in a game this close, minimizing those mistakes. And you know the Mountaineers did not want to see that penalty flag come out so early. So it's going to go back 5 yards. So first down and 15, excuse me, after that penalty. Quarterback David Beeson, and there he goes. Slipping through some tackles there. Marcus George finding some tough running room gains, 6 yards on that carry. A 7-yard gain, rushing attempt there by Marcus George, one of the 2 running backs that the Mount Baker Mountaineers have at their disposal. Mountaineers primarily a running team, and now Beeson, pocket breaking down, looking to find some room, and escapes. Gains about 4 yards on the scramble.
Gavin Beeson with the carry, he gains about 4. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Of course, this team, not necessarily the passing type, so the Wildcats sort of have a game plan scripted on defense, trying to capitalize on the limitations that the Mountaineers will have. Jesse Sandy and Marcus George, the top running backs, each of them with over 100 carries this season and over 800 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns apiece as well. Beeson receiving it inside, and Sandy receives it. And Sandy gets another 4 yards there. First carry of the night for him. And that's one of the things the Wildcats are going to have to track down where that ball is, especially with all that misdirection in the backfield. The quarterback doing a nice job of holding on to that ball, making sure he's moving correctly with his feet, and try to make sure that his running back is right where he needs to be. And luckily so far, that's the way it's been. So under center goes Beeson, Davin Beeson. And off inside to George, and being met by a host of Wildcats. Line of scrimmage hold there. No gain on that play.
Seth Ordaz, number 76, Kingdom Sampson on the stop.
Second down, and it's 10 to go. So Beeson again, pitching it out to White to the left. Sandy tried to find some space and knocked out of bounds there at the 45-yard line. 15-yard rush there by Sandy. That's one of the things the Wildcats, again, being disciplined on defense, pitched to the outside, wasn't expecting it, and right then the defensive backs, since they had to play so close in, sort of a little bit off angle, but the Wildcats were able to stop that play from going any further, and you bet this is the type of game it's going to be all night. Nothing but rushing capabilities here for the Mount Baker Mountaineers. Off inside, Sandy again, this time Wildcats. Meeting him right there, a gain of about 2.
Sandy gets about 3 for the Mountaineers. Seth Ordaz in for the stop.
Sandy, of course, 131 attempts this season, 899 yards to be exact. 8 touchdowns to go along with that game. Of course, only 8 games played this season as the Mount Baker Mountaineers 5-3 coming into this playoff game. Of course, as mentioned at the beginning of the top of the show, he felt seating was unjust here between these two teams. Oh, ball on the ground. Barry goes, who's on top of it? Oh, they're going to have to go dig it, but let's see who it goes. Toppage might be signaling that it's theirs, but oh, that might be a costly mistake. See who is on top of it. And, oh, no, looks like, and is it going to be? Oh. And they're going to call it for the Wildcats. Great defensive awareness. If you look at that play, just the mishandle there from the center to the quarterback. That wet ball may have had something to do with it, especially in this wet weather. Wow, just a turn of events, and it looked like the Mountaineers were getting ready to do some damage down in the red zone as soon as they got there. What a great defensive play there by the Wildcats, and this is the type of game that it's going to be, folks. Running, maybe a little bit of passing, but you bet it's going to be of which team is tougher out here tonight on the defensive end. State playoff championship games. Here we go. In the pistol, Perez hands it off. Torres. Oh, no. Getting snuffed out in the backfield. Loss of 5. Right there, Wildcats finding some pressure. And, of course, the Mountaineers just capitalizing right there at the angle that they had, bringing down Jose Torres in the backfield. Jose Timmy Torres, 1,000-yard rusher this season for the Wildcats, one of many that the Wildcats have had in the past. Perez almost getting that ball swiped away, but Shane Rivera gets the reception. Good for about 4 yards on that one. Shane Rivera, of course, the second leading receiver in receptions here for the Toppenish Wildcats. Shane Rivera with 23 receptions on the season and 4 touchdowns, 305 yards. It's been a very effective tool and weapon to complement Jason Grant. I'm going to hope to continue that here today. Perez looking over his left, making a pass by himself. Cortez, he has it. He's trying to make a move. Keeps going. Joshua Perez sitting there in the pocket, his lineman giving him enough time to sit there, go through his progressions, and Nick Cortez, much like he has all season, finding room and breaking free and just wide open, and there you go, close to a touchdown, and now in the red zone for the Wildcats. And so here we go, Joshua Perez scrambling, having a chance, and slides down, and maybe a little extra contact. In the NFL, that may have been called, but this is high school football here, folks, so go down.
Joshua Perez on the carry, he gets 4.
Gain of about 4 yards on that, 3 yards on that scramble. Joshua Perez not necessarily known for his for his mobility outside of the pocket. Definitely able to make plays when needed. Right there, free. Shane Rivera again, posting through, trying to get his power, and all the way down near the 5-yard line, close to a first down. It's going to be a gain of another 4 yards. Jason Grant, only 1 reception for no yards so far. Something interesting. So, in the shotgun now, Joshua Perez, Shane Rivera on the left side of the field, Jason Grant over on the right. Jose Torres receives the handoff, getting to the corner, and touchdown! First touchdown in the state playoffs here for the Wildcats. And let's take a look at how that got done. Let's talk about how that got done. That front line able to put enough of a block there, seal the defensive end in, and Jose Torres just too quick, too agile to be brought down in the open field like that by a bigger guy. Able to find an angle, and boom, to the lane he goes. 6-yard touchdown. Rushing touchdown right there for Jose Torres as he continues to add on to his historic rushing season. So point after, which is ever so important. And of course, the Wildcats haven't been very successful so far these last few games, but that one goes up straight and through. Wildcats with the lead here in their first playoff game in 27 years. They're leading 7-0, 3:40 remaining here in the first quarter. Be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. And remember, if you're new to us, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and never miss out on another THS event. We'll be back.
Number 7, Joshua Perez to kick off for the Wildcats. Jesse Sandy and Marcus George back deep for the Mountaineers.
Welcome back here, folks. THS Digital Media Network after that rushing touchdown, 6 yards. The scamper there by Jose Timmy Torres, 1,000-yard rusher for the Toppenish Wildcats, getting the scoring started here in the first quarter. Especially now, came off of that fumble, that turnover that the Mount Baker Mountaineers committed under center. Ball was mishandled and dropped by the quarterback, and of course, Wildcats able to recover. Here is a kickoff team trying to bring Landon Smith down, and down he goes. And that's where the Mountaineers will begin their second drive of the game. Of course, as mentioned earlier, of course, a bit of a homecoming for head coach Jason Smith. Of course, Ron Lepper and the coaching staff here, some ties with the good old and great and wonderful individual Jason Smith, head coach here of the Toppenish Wildcats, who right now have the lead, but back to work we go. Beeson under center. Inside, George gets a haul and brought down there by Grant after a gain of 13 on that one. So Marquez George, one of their top running backs, of course, two of them. It's primarily just a running-based team. Something that they hope can build on here for the future years. Beeson under center again. Sandy getting it to the outside. Grant right there and being met by a host of Wildcats. What a play there. Leonardo Betancourt and Jason Grant in on that tackle. And that's great discipline again by that Toppenish defense. Coming over to the edge, staying disciplined, knowing their assignments, especially when you know the only thing that the team can do is run. It's all about discipline. And so far here, Wildcats showing the best that they can and keeping it that way here in the first quarter. Beeson, two running backs either side of him, pitch to the outside. Sandy trying to get the corner, not there. Finally brought down there between Joshua Perez and Joshua Luna. Gain of about 1 yard.
3 yards. Joshua Luna there.
It's one of the things the Wildcats haven't seen a ton of this season. There's a lot of pitch style, going to the outside, counters, trip, inside, and especially under center. Something that's not seen too often anymore at the high school reps, at the high school level anyways. So back under center we go, Beeson. With George right behind him, Beeson looking to throw, long ball. Can he get there? Ball tripped up, incomplete, intended there for the wide receiver, Wyatt Pettigrew, leading receiver here. Although they don't pass the ball that much, he's one of the better hands on the team. And right there, of course, quarterback thinking he had a throwing lane to Pettigrew, but Joshua Perez able to cover up very quickly and close on that coverage and being able to affect where that ball went. 4th down and ready to punt are the Mountaineers. Here is Sandy, the punter. Oh, blocked! And that's going to be it, and it is recovered. Oh, everything going right for the Wildcats in the first quarter. And Sandy was feeling that pressure the entire way. You could see it. He wanted to get that punt off, but the Wildcats just got right there. What a great play on special teams. And if this is going to be a close defensive game all day, well, guess what? Those are the type of plays that need to be made. So back to action. We're going to go on offense. Again, the Wildcats come out with their second touchdown. Torres, big hole, running, getting 10 yards, getting more. Entire team trying to help him out, and that he is stopped after a gain of 13 yards on that one. And that's what you do. You immediately go back to what you know you can do, which is run the ball. When you have a 1,000-yard rusher like Timmy Torres, he's confident in his passing game the last few games as he's thrown a pick in the last 3. Joshua Perez being met with pressure, tries to get rid of it, and outside, and a flag thrown. It's going to be in the area of holding, I believe, so this might send the Wildcats back another 10. So let's see what's going to be called exactly, and it's going to be holding against the Wildcats. And that's something that's really hard to sort of prevent when your quarterback is just moving all over the place trying to run for his life. And sometimes when you're a lineman big up front there, you just grab and make sure that that person in front of you can't get to your quarterback. It's the line. That's the job of a lineman up front. So it's going to be a 10-yard penalty. Takes the Wildcats back all the way back to midfield. Their own 47-yard line. So Perez sending Nick Cortez in motion. Torres gets it in again, and this time stopped behind the line to scrimmage, so he's going to lose one on there.
Bench once and Taylor Brown in there on the stop. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
Second down and about a mile to go. So the Wildcats, after that crucial holding call on first down, set them back all the way to a position they probably did not want to be in. Not terrible field position, but you got to make something happen in this part of the field. Second down. 20 seconds or so remaining here in this first quarter. Open. Shane Rivera through his hands. That ball just a little behind him. Perhaps he was thinking about the Mountaineer defense that was going to come in hot and give him a good licking, as they say back in the day. So Joshua Perez getting his instructions in, and we're going to get this one off with 16 seconds remaining. Clock is not running right now in the first quarter. This will probably be the final play of the quarter. Joshua Perez rolling over his left, wide open. Isaiah Maldonado catches it near the 38-yard line, and that'll be so Isaiah Maldonado there with about an 8-yard catch. His second reception of the game. So it's going to bring up fourth down. So let's see what the Wildcats are going to elect to do. Looks like they will punt. Trying to get the field position game going. Joshua Perez punts this one. Sandy back there and trips and falls, and luckily that one didn't get away from him inside the 20-yard line. Good punt there by Perez, and that's where the Mountaineer offense will begin. Thank you for joining us from wherever you may be at. We are coming to you live from Civic Stadium here in Bellingham, Washington, side of the 1A state playoffs here this weekend. Of course, yesterday, if you were around this area, of course, games going on, and of course, there is one more game immediately following the conclusion of this contest. Of course, we will not be producing or broadcasting that game. And George finding slow, finding a lane again, finally being brought down. 40-yard line. And that's going to be a 23-yard rush there by George. And that's going to be the end of the quarter. 7-0 with the Mountaineers on offense, moving the ball effectively. We'll be back here beginning of the second quarter on the THS Digital Media Network. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Beginning of the second quarter, Beeson under center, hands it off again. Sandy finding some room and dragging the Wildcat defense after a gain of 9 yards on that carry.
Jesse Sandy on the carry, gets about 8 yards.
The rushing attack that this team has, the Mountaineers of Mount Baker, given opponents problems in the past. And obviously here for the Wildcats, trying to find a way to minimize the effectiveness of running the ball. Beeson stepping back, finding open receiver, and he's going to be brought down after a 5-yard reception. Pettigrew there with his first catch, first completed pass of the night too for Davin Beeson. Of course, Wyatt Pettigrew, the senior. That ball just thrown just a little too low. Had it been thrown right where it needed to be, near his chest, his head area, probably would have been able to get a couple extra yards. Just bad positioning there. But nonetheless, a first down coming. Beeson steps back, 2-step drop, looking over his left, throwing a high baller, looking, and nothing there. Pass intended for Pettigrew once again. Caleb Horseman, excuse me, the intended receiver. And that ball was hanging in the air for quite a minute. If the defensive back would have turned his head like 2.5 seconds maybe, he would have probably gotten there and could have made a play on that ball. But next time, luckily the Wildcat defense able to limit any gain on that play. Beeson. And off inside of George, and met there immediately by some big bodies. Met at the line of scrimmage. This is playoff basketball, and there he goes. Rocco Clark in on that tackle, trying to hype this crowd up. Of course, Toppenish fans, many of them traveling well. Here as rain is starting to drizzle down here in Bellingham, Washington. If you're from around this area, of course, the Western Washington Vikings. The Western Washington Vikings as well. So back under center, a go, Davin Beeson. George behind him. George gets it. He's missed. And Sandy, what do you know, comes over and finally brought down after a gain of about 6 yards on that one.
He gets about 5 yards, maybe 6.
6th carry of the night, nearing close to 40 yards. Mount Baker running this offense as efficiently as they can. Of course, able to move the ball, but right now, 4th down and about 4 yards to go, so they're going to go for it on this part of the field. Wildcats looking to make a statement stop now. So under center, George, the main running back. Beeson keeping it, can't find no room, and that's where it goes. Turnover on downs. What a great defensive stand there from the Wildcat defense. And that was a smart idea there by the Wildcat defense, just making sure they sent the right amount of bodies. They wanted to make sure that that quarterback and the running backs were contained, that nobody can get outside of them. They don't want them breaking outside contained. And luckily, everything kept in front of them and getting themselves another offensive possession here. In great field position as well. Wildcats starting off at their own 43-yard line. First down and 10. Joshua Perez, 2 running backs either side of him. Sam Maldonado gets the handoff on the inside. Tries to get to and down. As Maldonado almost lost that ball near the end, but luckily the knee was down. And in this weather, that's something that you have to emphasize, is securing that football with as rainy as it's been. And of course, the Mount Baker Mountaineers already committing 1 turnover. You want to hang on to that football. So 2nd down and 10 to go. Joshua Perez again in the gun, in the pistol this time. Torres gets the handoff. Finds a little bit of running room, gets it all the way out to, say, the 46-yard line. Gain of about 3 yards on that carry by Jose Torres.
About 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and long.
Third down and about 7 yards to go. Joshua Perez is getting put in a position of having to throw the ball. Immediately throws, quick slant. Grant found up the middle, breaking through some tackles, and finally brought down there. That's going to be a 26-yard pass, 27-yard pass from Joshua Perez to Grant. That's his second reception, and it's a big one, 27 yards, moving this Wildcat offense down the field. And that's one of the problems that a lot of teams sometimes have difficult in dealing with Grant is where is he? Where is this man? Because if you do not account for him, he will make you pay, and immediately a false start, something the Wildcats didn't want to see. False start's going to send them back 5 yards.
False start on the Wildcats. Remain first down.
So first down and 15. Wildcats on offense there. Torres gets the carry. Running it up the middle, finding behind his lineman, finds a hole, and almost had enough breathing room to tear off a big one.
There's number 10 on the carry, Jason Grant. He gets about 8 yards.
3 yards there. So Jose Torres hoping to continue his rushing attack. So the Wildcats are going to need every bit of it here tonight. Here as Joshua Perez hoping to get into some rhythm on offense, and you find that through running the ball first. Immediately passed over, Rivera getting it into the house. He goes. Oh my, 30. That is a 28-yard pass to Shane Rivera and a touchdown. What a great play and what a great read there by Joshua Perez, looking over to his right side and knowing that Shane Rivera had a very favorable matchup in that situation. Threw that ball perfectly where only his receiver could get it, able to put that one down, able to break a tackle, and Shane Rivera with his next touchdown in line. This is going to put up the Cats 13-0. Let's see what the PAT holds. Brandon Flores, young freshman kicker, that click goes up, and this time it is good as well. Well, folks, hoping to prove a lot of people wrong, and especially that seating committee at the WIAA. 7:17 remaining here in the second quarter. Wildcats leading after a Shane Rivera touchdown, 14-0. We'll be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and never miss out on another THS Digital Media event.
Jesse Sandy and Marcus George are deep for the Mountaineers. Joshua Perez will kick off for the Wildcats.
Welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network. After that, Joshua Perez to Shane Rivera, touchdown. Shane Rivera putting on his playoff cleats, you could say, and being able to run through some tackles there and be able to break off a good run, and into the end zone he goes. Shane Rivera, what a great complimentary receiver to the great Jason Grant. Joshua Perez, low squibber, right in the middle of the field. Somebody's going to have to pick it up. George able to pick it up now. Trying to make his way through some Wildcat defense, but can't find any space, and finally brought down close to the 32-yard line.
Marcus George in the return takes it out to the 32-yard line.
So here's the issue that the Mount Baker Mountaineers might be facing, and they're going to probably be looking to put a touchdown here in this next drive, as when you're a rushing team, you encounter timing issues. you either are going to be able to defensively hold your opponent, not let them score very many points, and you're going to be able to run the ball, maybe get a touchdown or two, and win the game. Well, when you're behind, that can go out the window. Let's see what happens here in this drive. Beeson under center, hands it off this time. George trying to find some lane and running room, but nothing there. Brought down after a gain of maybe one. They're going to keep him at the line of scrimmage.
Ricardo Gonzalez and Rocco Clark there for the Wildcats.
Dakota Bauer and Rocco Clark, one of the top defensive players there on that defensive line for the Toppenish Wildcats. Leading that front line of the defensive line here for the Wildcats. Beeson trying to find Pettigrew, and that ball falls incomplete. Bring up third down. Third down and 10, something that Mountaineers have very rarely come across this season in their 8 games. Of course, 3 losses on the season. Those losses coming to some bigger schools early on in the season. Here as Mountaineers hoping to get back on track. Third down and long. 6:23 remaining here in the second quarter. Thank you for joining us from wherever you may be at. This is the THS Digital Media Network. Beeson stepping back, taking a 7-step drop. Can't find anybody. Throwing the long ball, looking for it. Robledo, and nothing there. Pass intended for Caleb Horseman.
Beeson's pass intended for number 3, Caleb Horseman, is incomplete. Into the 4th and 10.
So 4th down and 10, and believe the Mountaineers are going to have to punt this one away as it's a little bit too deep to give up possession on this part of the field, so they're going to have to punt this one back to the Wildcats.
Jesse Sandy
back deep for the Wildcats. You got Jason Grant, who has a couple of punt returns for touchdowns this season. Sandy gets that one off. And they're going to let that one bounce, and at the 45-yard line, the Wildcats will start on offense. Wildcats, of course, making an appearance here in state playoffs at the 1A level this time. First time in 27 years. And Wildcats, of course, going to want to handle business here tonight. Whoever their opponent's going to be, more than likely it's going to be the Royal City Knights, the top team at the 1A level here in the state of Washington, if they're able to handle business here tonight. But we're about to see. Torres, little running room up the middle. And Jose Timmy Torres getting in. Going to bring up 2nd down and about 9 yards to go. Playoff football here in the state of Washington at the high school level being played. Remember, check your local area, your local region. Find out where you can watch some playoff football at the high school level. See Maldonado in motion. Perez, another pass, finding Grant. Another 20-yard reception there from Joshua Perez to Jason Grant, his 3rd reception already with 47 yards on 3 catches. And timeout taken by the Mount Baker Mountaineers. We'll take one as well. Toppenish leading on offense, 14-0. We'll be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be at. We are coming to you live here from Civic Stadium in Bellingham, Washington, side of the 1A state playoffs here for the Mount Baker Mountaineers. Isaiah Maldonado breaking through, trying to find some running room and holding on to that ball. And this time, another 17-yard reception, this time to Isaiah Maldonado. You got to give credit there to Isaiah Maldonado, aware of where he was at in the field, able to slip through a tackle. Unfortunately, that the Mountaineers defense came in with such speed, perhaps could have gotten a couple more yards. So Joshua Perez there in the pistol. Jose Torres, of course, the 1,000-yard running back for the Toppenish Wildcats. Defense. Receiving touchdown there. A 27-yard pass one more time to Shane Rivera, who is just lighting it up. 20-0. 3:55 remaining here in the second quarter. What a great play. And you got to admire the patience that Joshua Perez had on that set of warpath down there. Not able to get very good protection. Rolling over to his right and then throwing across his body, finding Rivera untouched. Nobody within range of 5 yards of him, able to make the catch, go into the end zone. And that one blocked away, and no good. His left side rolling out just enough, unfortunately, not realizing that that ball wasn't going to get there, unfortunately. And Freddy Robledo right there makes a play and buys the Wildcats another possession here in this state playoff game, 9 versus 8 seed. I think after this game, if the Wildcats are able to wrap up business here tonight, I think the committee, they're not going to make a mistake like that again. They're not going to make a seeding mistake like that again, guaranteed that. So timeout this time by the Wildcats. 3:02 remaining, still up 20-0. Wildcats with the lead. Be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Welcome back here, THS Digital Media Network. Timeout by the Wildcats. Joshua Perez taking a step back, rolling over to his right. Tries to pass it off, dump it off over there to Shane Rivera, but too much pressure there. Pass drops incomplete.
Joshua Perez's pass falls incomplete. Second down.
Shane Rivera having himself quite a game here tonight. With 2 receiving touchdowns, both of them over 20 yards. Shane Rivera being the great complement to what Jason Grant is. Perez from the pistol. Torres up the middle. Finding some running room and trying to break a few tackles there on his own. Finally brought down at around the 37-yard line.
He gains about 4 yards.
4-yard gain there by Timmy Torres. Jose Timmy Torres, that is the full name there of a great 1,000-yard rusher that the Wildcats have. Of course, one of only of a select few of running backs that have rushed for over 1,000 yards. Of course, the last 1,000-yard rusher for the Toppenish Wildcats was way back in 2015 with Cesar Ramirez, part of that Ramirez clan in Toppenish. Perez again, finding pressure and immediately goes down. Something that hasn't happened too often here tonight. And that's going to be a sack there. It's going to bring up third down.
The loss is about
So 4th down now. Wildcats, I believe, they're going to elect to punt. Considering there's only so much time left on the clock, they really just want to send this one to halftime. Have them regroup. So Joshua Perez, of course, the punter, and Jesse Sandy leaning back deep to receive this one. See if he can get a decent punt return and perhaps spark some life into this Mountaineers offense. Perez with a beautiful punt up high. Able to get it. Nick Cortez misses the tackle there and finally out of bounds at around the 35-yard line, 34-yard line to be exact. So minute 16 remaining. They have a couple of timeouts to use, but with that clock, only has a minute 16 remaining, it's going to be rather difficult to manage that clock and try to get at least a score before the end of the half. And that's sometimes something you got to think about, and I'm sure some coaches think about is what are the limitations of your offense, and especially when you're playing from behind, how much difficult it could be to try to get back into the game. Beeson able to hang it off George. Sandy this time. Sandy almost able to break a big one off there. Gains 11 yards on that one. Jesse Sandy continues to be an effective runner on the ground. Fortunately, hasn't developed any points, hasn't caused any points to be scored yet for the Mountaineers. 3-step drop there. Beeson able to complete it to Pettigrew. And Pettigrew able to get a 6-yard reception there. Davin Beeson. Timeout call, 50 seconds remaining. See if the Mountaineers are going to draw up something special. So what a great time we have. Thank you for joining us here from wherever you may be at. We're coming to you live here from Civic Stadium in Bellingham, Washington. Home inside of some 1A state playoff games being played here yesterday, and of course another game still to be played immediately following the conclusion of our contest. Of course, that one's going to be on your local streaming site of those two teams. Check your local listings in your area for information for that. Here we go. 2nd down and about 4 yards to go, only 50 seconds remaining. Let's see how far the Mountaineers are able to get down to the field. Beeson, long ball coming for them. Pettigrew able to get it and complete. But let's see what the referees are going to call. Let's see, it could be possible offensive pass interference, but we're about to find out. And that's what it might be, but the official's still discussing that. It's going to be against the defense, unfortunately. And so it isn't a spot foul or anything. It doesn't add anything on. Obviously, if they accept the penalty, it would start the ball back over there. But, of course, you want to get the completion, get the yards there. And so 42.2 seconds remaining as the Mountaineers finding some spark. Sandy trying to find some running room, nothing there. Maybe a gain of 1.
Jason Grant in there for the Wildcats.
And right there as another timeout taken by the Mountaineers, going to be their final timeout. That nearing close to a 45-yard pass to the top receiver, Wyatt Pettigrew, the senior on that Mount Baker Mountaineer squad. Wyatt Pettigrew, 19 receptions on the season. Again, a team that doesn't pass that very often. 311 yards in total, 4 touchdowns. And that pretty much sums up their effectiveness of the passing game for the Mountaineers. Anyways, thank you for joining us. I'd like to give a shout out, of course, to the people all over the state that are watching us, including some of our good friends over there in Ellensburg at Pretty Fair Eatery. Shout out over there to the great Eli and, of course, his wonderful wife, Carrie Ann. Of course, the rest of the workers there. Great time. Stop by if you ever have a chance over there at the Pretty Fair Eatery in Ellensburg. And, of course, Mr. Travis Hines. Shout out to you as well. Here we go. Beeson under center. Oh, no, running it over his right. Trying to find Pettigrew. Perez face shielding and another defensive pass interference. 21 seconds remaining, and it's getting a little bit difficult here for the Wildcats to try to close this one off.
They sent everybody.
And so now, discussing, and it's going to be against the Wildcats. It's not a spot foul once again. So normally you'd put it to the 1 yard line, but you only get that pass interference called. In the NFL, of course, it'd be put at the 1 yard line. Of course, this isn't the NFL. This is, of course, high school football. So you just get the yardage of the penalty. Here we go. Wildcats trying to stay stout on defense. Not let any points here this half. Again, and there it goes. What a play there by Sans Ordaz. Wow. Joshua Luna, excuse me, with that huge play. And here we go. Seconds remaining. And able to clock it before the clock read 0. But what a great defensive play. And right when you need somebody to step up and make something happen, especially after they kind of did not want to let that last penalty go, but here we go. The Wildcats, their players stepping up, making a play to show a statement here in the first half. 5.5 seconds remaining. Wildcats wanting to keep this shutout here in the first half. Gonna pin their ears back. The old school saying goes, you need to pin your ears back, hold tight, and if you want to get the result that you want to get, show them and get them everything you want. You don't want nobody getting in front of you. Under center, Beeson. Oh, false start. Let's see what's going to be called out on the field. Could be a possibility here for a neutral zone infraction. Let's see what's going to be called by the officials. It is a neutral zone infraction, something that the Wildcats didn't need with only 5.5 seconds remaining.
Half the distance to the goal, which gives the Mountaineers a first down.
So the Wildcats again stuck in a position again. They did not necessarily need to do that. Of course, you got to keep an eye on that ball. You got to minimize mistakes. If you want to keep and pitch this shutout here in the first half, Wildcats got to be a little bit more disciplined than that. Beeson under center. Not a lot of time left. You can't really imagine they're going to try to run the ball. They want to sneak something in. Again, nothing there. Ball thrown way out of bounds, and 0.3 seconds remaining. I'm not sure. It did not say 0, so there's technically 1 second remaining on that play clock. Here is the Mountaineers are going to look to do something. Setting up the final play here of this first half, and it's been the story for the Wildcats. Been able to get points up. And of course, many of the newspapers not giving the Wildcats any respect, as they were expecting them to lose this game. Well, guess what? They already got those points. Slipping out, trying to make it in. Does he get it in? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Mountaineers. Davin Beeson with a 5-yard rushing touchdown there. First score for the Mountaineers. They're going to need a lot more of that in the second half if they hope to do that. So now looks like they're going to set up, and I believe they're going to go for 2. And they will be going for 2 indeed. So another chance here for the Wildcats. Pitch it at Sandy, trying to find some room, closing, and gets it in, and 2-point conversion good by Sandy. And that's it, 20-8. After that last-minute score, last-second score to close out the second half by the Mountaineers. They're going to need that and more for the second half of the game. We're going to take a break, folks. When we come back, second half of this game, and of course, halftime here coming up. Here, coming to you live from Civic Stadium here in Bellingham, Washington. Bringing this to you live only on the THS Digital Media Network. Make sure to like, subscribe, and never miss out on another THS Digital Media event. We'll be back after this break here on the THS Digital Media Network. It should be in the bag.
halftime here, coming to live here from 6 Bellingham, Washington. Thank everybody who's watching us across the state from wherever you may be.
The Mountaineers will receive to start the second half, going deep will be number 9 Marcus George, and number 22 Jesse Sandy.
1A state championship playoffs. Wildcats possession lead. Hoping to take their business here tonight.
Joshua Perez will kick off for the Wildcats.
State playoffs. Of course, the history for the Wildcats in the 4 years is the last time the Wildcats made the state. Of course, that was back in 1997. They just lost. Success in programs this year. Pick up. Right back in.
Landon Smith takes the kickoff to the 39-yard line, where the Mountaineers will take over 1st and 10. Adrian Villanueva, number 4, and number 15, Kiana Zuninga, in on the stop.
The thing that has been sort of iffy this entire game is having the ball, especially in this rain and wet condition.
No gain on the play or loss of 1. Be second and 11 for the Mountaineers.
Sending a fresh ball every snap in there. Another dangerous play there by the Mountaineers. Could have ended up on the other side.
Right now, Mountaineers needing to settle down. Needing to find some rhythm on offense.
Great job leading themselves. Stopping this rushing attack. Gets a pass. Emily and finally left wide open. Mountaineers.
Gavin Beeson's pass goes complete to number 99, Alex Mallory. He finally dropped down by number 24, Freddie Rebeldo. It takes the ball inside the 50 down to the 32. The Mountaineers, first down.
Just wide open. Not expecting that. This is what the Wildcats are hoping to avoid coming out of the locker room. And big plays like that break off. And now the Wildcats need to regroup.
And hopefully hold them to no point here.
Beeson keeping the ball himself, running it.
Gavin Beeson on the keeper. He gets about 8.5, 9 yards.
It's his 4th carry of the game.
Marcus George on the carry takes it down to the 17. The Mountaineer first down. Leonardo Bentoncourt in there on the stop for the Wildcats.
Some adjustments as the running game starting to get going.
Nothing bigger than that 45-yard completion from Houston to the side end of Alex Mallory.
Gavin Beeson on the quarterback keeper gets about 7 yards. He's brought down by Joshua Luna, number 57, 2nd and 3.
A little bit sluggish. touchdown for Jesse Sandy. Nearly 70 yards in this game. And that's going to put the Mountaineers back within one. Possession, I should say. Wildcats. Now the Wildcats are going to have to try to stop a two-point attempt. There's the Mountaineers. Very little ball on the ground again. And Beeson, nowhere to go. And finally brought down. 2-point is no good. That could be big at the end.
Beeson's brought down the backfield. The two-point conversion attempt is no good.
And so the Wildcats holding on that play. Nothing developing there. But the Wildcats going to need to respond. Otherwise, this game's going to get tight. Take a break. Be back. 8:36 remaining here in the second quarter. Live from Bellingham, Washington in Civic Stadium. 20-14 off the Sandy touchdown from the Mountaineers. Be back here on the THS Digital Media Network.
Gavin Beeson to kick off for the Mountaineers. So Isaiah Maldonado and Jason Grant.
Welcome back here, THS Digital Media Network, off the Sandy touchdown. Mountaineers ready to kick this one off. Jesse Sandy with a 15-yard rushing touchdown. Wildcats a little out of position on defense that time, and this time preventing any sort of return there by Grant. Going to be brought down at around the 27-yard line. So back out comes this Toppenish offense, which has been running on all cylinders. Jose Torres has one rushing touchdown through the ground, nearing 60 yards himself here on 9 carries. Jason Grant with 3 receptions for 47 yards. And the big story, Shane Rivera, the complimentary receiver to Jason Grant, 2 touchdowns this game and going to be nearing 100 yards here probably after the end of this one. First down and 10. Here we go. Joshua Perez from the pistol. Immediately dumps it off over to Jason Grant. Running through players. Gets the sideline. Is he going to get the angle? Can he go? And he will go all the way. Touchdown, Jason Grant. Talk about a response that needed to be made. Well, he just made it. A 72-yard pass from Joshua Perez to Jason Grant for a touchdown. You want to talk about a game changer? That's the player you want on your team. Jason Grant with 20-plus touchdowns this season. So many receiving yards, so many return yards. This man can do it all. Can be all over the field, and he can change the tune of a game. And just like that, on the first play of the first series, coming out of the locker room, Jason Grant responds. So here we go, 2-point conversion. Here in double wing T, the classic offense that the Wildcats ran back in the day. And what's going to be called here? And trying to draw them off sides. It's going to be a false start against the Wildcats on this 2-point conversion attempt. So 26, and let's see if they can get the 2-point conversion here. It's going to put them back 5 yards, but another attempt is going to come. Perez rolling over to his right, finding somewhere to go, and through the hands, trying to find Nick Cortez in the back of the end zone. Two-point conversion, no good, but Toppenish Wildcats respond in kind, lead 26-14. Wildcats gonna paddle all the way, and with the weapon like Jason Grant, it's gonna be a good one. Be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Welcome back on the THS Digital Media Network as the Wildcats are ready to kick off again after the response from the Toppenish Wildcat. A 72 touchdown pass from Joshua Perez to Jason Grant, his first of the game, and with that completion, well, only on 4 receptions already with the 100+ yards here tonight for Jason Grant. Just when you need your top player to step up and respond, he does. It's a good pick there. It's into the hands of the Mountaineers and trying to return there. Return man number 24, Dylan Moa. Going to be back down near midfield.
Number 24, Dylan Moa on the return. He takes it to the 47-yard line.
So here we come.
First and 10.
As the offense is going to come back for the Mountaineers.
For the Wildcats, along with Rudy Sandoval.
So second series coming out of the locker room. Of course, first one ended with a touchdown. Let's see where this one's going to go. So Beeson under center. Oh, ball on the ground again, almost lost it. Looking to go somewhere with it. All over the ground, throws a high one up into the air. Has it in a huge reception. All the way out to the 22-yard line. That's going to be a 35-yard completion. Every time you think this game is going to go a different direction, it seems like somebody steps up, makes a play, and gets things going. Pettigrew there with that reception. Right when you think the Wildcats are going to make a play right there, sometimes a little unlucky, and right there, George keeps running hard.
Marcus George takes it to the 16-yard
It's going to be brought down, and it's going to bring up second down. A gain of about 5 yards, 6, give him 6 yards on that carry. A touchdown here for Marquis George, Marquez George. Change that tune here on this drive. We'll see what the Mountaineers are going to do. Beeson under center again. And this time, I believe it's going to be penalty flag against the Mountaineers. Oh, and it's going to be against the Wildcats. Encroachment and, everything going wrong for the Wildcats on defense right now.
Offsides in the Wildcat gives the Mountaineers a first down on the 12-yard line.
Get in this game already 2 turnovers in the first drive of the opening quarter. Quarterback David Beeson fumbling on the exchange between the center. And it's happened already a couple of times. Luckily, they didn't lose the ball on those other 2 occasions. Something to keep an eye on here at the remainder of the game. Sandy finding some room, and Wildcats with a chance to bring them down as it was a crowded way back in the backfield. But Sandy able to skip his way forward for a gain of another 3 yards or so.
Number 6, Leonardo Betancourt in there for the Wildcats. 26-14, almost a 2-possession lead. It's a 1.5, you can call it. So
Wildcats just want to keep responding. They're going to have to keep responding on offense if they want to be able to come out with the win here tonight. Beeson again, George and Sandy, his running backs right behind him. Beeson looking to pass, making it, and Wildcats bringing them down and still staying up, and finally referees call the whistle. It's going to be an official loss of about 3 yards on that one. Met in the backfield, nowhere for Beeson to go. And that's what happens when the Wildcats execute their game plan on defense right there, keeping their assignments. Beeson trying to make a play himself, the bigger guy of this Wildcat defense, but they just know where they need to be. And you bet, even though they are small, they're not going to give up. They're going to put everything on the line, especially now. It's a playoff game. They're going to make sure that they need to make those plays. So Beeson under center. One thing to keep an eye on is that center quarterback exchange. Been a problem, and looking to run for it. And brought down in the backfield again. Incredible. So 3rd down and about 13 yards to go. 4th down now. And so obviously in this part of the field, with the type of offense you are running, you're going to go for it. Yeah, not to mention, during the PATs, they have not been kicking. They've not even brought out a kicking team. I'm not even sure if they have a kicker available right now. But they've been going for 2-point conversions, so you know what the offensive limitations of what the Mount Baker Mountaineers have. So perhaps just stick to game script, try to make a play, and on defense knowing the limitations of your opponent. Beeson, no, dropped again, the 5th time tonight. Trying to scramble, trying to make something happen, and nothing. Still staying up, and finally brought down by a mess of Wildcats. Unbelievable turnover on downs. And when you talk about pinning your ears back, having your defense step up and make a play when it needed to be made, that is an example of one right there. Wildcats just running to the ball, making sure that the quarterback didn't break contain and that none of his playmakers were, well, that they weren't out there by themselves either. So great job there by the Wildcat defense. So back to the pistol offense we go. Of course, Shane Rivera and Jason Grant, very effective through the air, both of them with multiple receptions. And Grant already running with a lot of yards, or receiving a lot of yards there as Torres runs for 5 yards on that exchange. His 10th carry of the game. Of course, he has 1 touchdown as well. Perez. Timmy Torres right behind him. Gets the handoff. And makes it out to about the 31-yard line. Gain of about 1.
Timmy Torres on the carry. Alex Malloy's the first one there for the Mountaineers.
So the Wildcats, again, hoping to continue the success they've had here on offense. 2 touchdowns for Shane Rivera. Has about 79 receiving yards on 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. Jason Grant already with the 100+ receiving yards and a touchdown himself. So this Toppenish offense is starting to get lit up. It's starting to light up again. Perez, quick pass. Rivera able to get that one through, and 1st down. There's another reception there by Shane Rivera. Be a 6-yard reception there. Shane Rivera hoping to crack his first 100-yard game, and it may very well come in this game. And right there showing you an example of why Shane Rivera has been a very good player to have opposite of Jason Grant, providing that complementary set of weapons that the Wildcats need. Obviously able to run it and able to pass it, as they have some pass catchers out there that can make plays. Joshua Perez handing it off, finding a little lane there, trying to keep that ball high and tight. Gains about 2 yards, Jose Torres. Timmy Jose Torres. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in here to today's game. We know a lot of these games, either some of them are not being broadcast at all, no video. You know, it's unfortunate that sometimes resources, time, and commitment and all of those things come into play, but when the Toppenish Wildcats have an ability to stream, especially something as historic as this playoff game here tonight, well, you bet we're going to bring this to you live. Perez back in the pistol. Torres gets it again to the middle. Gains another 2 yards. Already his 13th carry of the game. Wildcats just looking to punch on that clock. The clock is not necessarily the Mountaineers' best friend right now. Down by 2 possessions. And the Wildcats, of course, hoping to extend that lead here by continuing their high-octane offense. Something that the Wildcats want to improve upon is just executing on these 3rd and about long plays. Of course, Shane Rivera been a great matchup. Let's see what Josh Perez is looking to do here on this play. And the timeout, I believe, called by the Wildcats, and it is 40 seconds remaining. Wildcats leading 26-14. We'll take a timeout. Be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network. After the timeout by the Wildcats, 3rd down and about 7 yards to go. Looking to make something happen. Perez is going to be in the backfield by himself. Takes a 5-step drop. Being met by pressure. Trying to run out of it. And he's just going to throw that one out of bounds and past the line of scrimmage. Shane Rivera in the area. Incomplete, and the punting team is going to come out here for the Wildcats.
Perez, the pass goes incomplete. It'll be 4th down for the Wildcats.
The Wildcats are going to continue to do what they do. Unfortunately, the offense coming up short on that last exchange. And so now Joshua Perez will be forced to punt this one away. And hopefully another bobbled snap. Perez has a chance to get a 1st down and does. Mistakes or no mistakes, the Wildcats seem to be able to convert in a new set of downs for the Wildcats. Talk about being really lucky on that one. I think there could be an argument made that that was nothing but luck. Bobbling and mishandling the snap. Luckily, he's an athlete. He's the quarterback. He knows how to move out of pressure, able to find the spot, and not only run out of there out of trouble, pick up the 1st down in a new set of downs, keep this Wildcat offense on the field. And most importantly, keeping that Mountaineer defense out there as well. Perez handing it off to Torres, able to slip through a couple of tackles, making it all the way out past midfield to about the 42-yard line.
On the carry, Gavin Beeson in there on the stop. He gets about
3 yards on that carry by Torres.
2nd down and 7 as we start the 4th quarter.
Timeout taken on the field. We'll take one ourselves here, THS Digital Media Network. Welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Back on offense after the timeout on the field. Joshua Perez. Oh, takes the sack. Ball on the ground. It's still on the ground, being mad and not only brought down. Oh no, what a bad sequence of events. And it looks like Joshua Perez is still down. Oh no. Not looking very good as he was just blindsided. And that is a changing series of events right there. Joshua Perez is able to get up. They're going to check him. And hopefully he'll be able to make it back to the game. But now, this Wildcat team needs to hold it together and needs to know that this game is still theirs. 11:52 to open up this fourth and final quarter. Boy, this is probably going to be a game. Hold on to your seats, folks. Wildcats. Right there, looking to pass. Nothing coming, left open, and luckily pass a little too far ahead there for Pettigrew. Second down and 10 to go. But wow, what a change of events there. Joshua Perez looking to pass, did not see his blind side coming. And the offensive line needed to make a better play on there, making sure that your quarterback does not take such big hits like that. And right now, over in the medical tent, and he seems to be up and running around, perhaps being checked for any type of injuries. It looks like he's going to be okay, but we'll find out soon. Dropping back to pass, two-step drop. Immediately gets it off, but drop there. Pass a little up ahead, too wide there for the receiver, and going to bring up third down. Well, the Wildcats with the opportunity here to pin their ears back once again, and here comes Joshua Perez back into the game as he took a big hit and fumbled the ball. The Toppanish's first turnover of this game. And so third down and about 10 yards to go. Cornerbacks looking to be tested here in the run. George, being mad, finds a hole, gets it through, and to the house he goes. 38-yard rushing touchdown there. And something that the Wildcats didn't want to give up. 32-yard rushing touchdown there from Marquis George. And this is going to have to put the Wildcat offense back onto the field. But now, a one-possession game. Coming up. Of course, electing to go for two. Two-point conversion coming up. Motion. Beeson traveling, gives it inside to George. George trying to slip through and does. It's going to put them within 3. And so off that Toppanish turnover, the Mount Baker Mountaineers able to capitalize. And it's going to be a close game, as it always is in the state playoffs. 11:34 remaining here in the fourth and final quarter. Toppanish still leading 26-22, but the Mountaineers right there with them. Be back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network after that Marquis George 32-yard touchdown. Wildcats off of that Mountaineers capitalizing on the Wildcat turnover after Joshua Perez just took a big hit in the pocket, trying to make a pass. Fortunately, not able to hold on that ball, loses it in a fumble. And the Mountaineers able to recover it and responded with the touchdown. And here we go again. The Wildcats going to need to return it again. Trying to put up a response. Maldonado trying to find his way through some tackles and being met, stopped at the 29-yard line. So back on offense, and after that big hit that Joshua Perez took, Wildcats hoping to get back on track. And you know what? You know, it was a bit of a miscommunication there. The linemen were a little too late making the adjustment there at the end of the play. And now Jason Grant playing out of the Wildcat position. And Grant starting to run it himself. Coming through, gains about 3 yards. Of course, Wildcat starting to run the Wildcat here at this point. Not the first time we've seen it this season. Very effective running against the Zilla Leopards to get a big win and win the SEAC West earlier in the year. Maldonado in motion. Grant taking it himself. Grant keeps running. He's going to pick up a first down. It's going to be a gain of about 8 yards on that one. And that's one of the things that's very effective with the Wildcat offense. When the Wildcats run it, it's essentially an extension of the double wing T that they used to run back in the day. Taking an old page out of Mount Baker's playbook, and Jason Grant's going to continue to be in the backfield here in this Wildcat-like formation. Sam Maldonado trips, going to take it himself, finding some room and gaining 2 yards. And so Grant is going to continue with the ball in his hands. And when you are in tight positions, this is the type of position where you need a player like Jason Grant. You need him to handle the ball. Put the ball in your best player's hands, especially in situations like this. And this is what the Toppenish Wildcats are doing here in this series. Maldonado gets it, running through, and gets about 4 yards on that carry. It's going to bring up third down and short. Wildcats going to limit their passing abilities right now. Running this Wildcat offense. And now switching over, running the traditional pistol with Joshua Perez back at the quarterback position. Third down and about 3 yards to go. Quick pass, Shane Rivera trying to go upfield, and it's going to be close to the first down. Let's see where the referees mark it. And it is going to be a first down. And perhaps this is where you do want to slow the game, kill the clock on your side, because if you're able to punt it, even if you get the ball into deep territory and perhaps don't score, you're burning and killing that clock. And that's something I think strategy-wise that the Wildcats are trying to execute here in this fourth and final quarter. So first down and about 10 yards to go. Joshua Perez luckily able to come back after that big hit, sack fumble. Recovered by the Mountaineers, and on that fumble, Mountaineers able to respond with the touchdown of their own. Perez receives a snap again. Outside, Maldonado freed up, getting some yards, and gain of about 8 on that one. They're going to give him 7. So yeah, Maldonado with 4 catches already here tonight. 5 catches, 40 yards. And Wildcats with the second down and about 3 yards to go. snap. Torres running it and gets maybe another yard on that one. 7:45 remaining, and again, unfortunately we don't have the clock available for you this game, but 7:40 remaining and counting. As the Wildcats perhaps using some strategy. Burning clock. Trying to limit the amount of points that the Mount Baker offense can do. And even if they do, say they pin them back, well, it's going to take them a long time to make it all the way downfield. Here we go, 3rd down and short, back to the Wildcat. Grant takes it, being met in the backfield, and nothing there for them. So Grant there with the 2-yard, 3-yard loss. And what are the Wildcats going to do? 4th down at about 5. They're going to be getting their final set of instructions here. Have to look at the play clock, and looks like they're going to punt it. And there's just not going to be enough time. They're going to have to call a timeout. Let's see what's going to happen. Punt his way. There it goes. Sandy looking to track it down. Does. Wet field out there. And being bumped out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. So 6:14 remaining. Wildcats still with the lead, leading by 4. And Wildcats, again, defense is being called upon. And that's one thing that remains the same about football through the years. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And the Wildcats are going to need to unlock that next level of defense, make some plays out there, and get this Mountaineer offense off the field. 6:14 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Important mark, folks, wherever you may be at. 6 minutes, 14 seconds remaining here in the 4th quarter. Beeson, 3-step drop, passes it off, and through the hands of his receiver, incomplete. Landon Smith there, the intended receiver. Unfortunately, nothing coming for him. So 2nd down and long coming. This game is going to be close. It's going to go down to the wire. Very well, whoever wins this game, the way it's looking right now is whoever has that ball last is going to win this game. 2nd down and 10. Looking to pass again. Nothing coming, and Sandy not able to reel it in, but a flag. And it's going to be a flag, and I believe it is going to be roughing the passer. And it is, and it's going to give them a new set of downs. Something that the Wildcats just did not want to see. So the Wildcats, unfortunate their mistake by the end lineman. And so it's going to put them closer to midfield, and something dangerous again. This Mountaineers defense, or offense I should say, just moving. And the Wildcats sometimes giving them away, free penalties. That's one of them that's going to cost them. Leeson, 3-step drop again. Pass, breaking free, trying to get out of bounds, and finally does. And there as Grant getting a little heated, and now within striking distance, the Mountaineers. So remember, the snaps have been an issue right now. Still drizzling, the rain coming down here in Bellingham, Washington. Inside Civic Stadium. Beeson stepping back, 7-step drop, looking to load up, loads it. Picked off! Intercepted there! And Freddy Robledo with the second interception of the game. Eliminating that scoring threat. And the referees just making sure, and there he comes, Freddy Robledo making that necessary play. And Freddy Robledo right there in position, reading that pass all the way down, just reading the quarterback's eyes. Only knew one place he wanted to go, that wide receiver, and unfortunately he is still down, still hurt. But nowhere for him to go. Threw that one into a tight space, and unfortunately, accuracy, not the best thing for Davin Beeson. So that scoring threat eliminated. 5:49 remaining here in the fourth quarter, but pinned back deep in their own backfield are the Wildcats. So looking to get final instructions here as the referees getting ready to go back under, and there we go. Perez dumped off and dropped there, something rare that you see from Grant. Pass was a little late, and a lot of bodies in that area, so luckily nothing more happened with that possession. Gonna bring up 2nd down and 10. So here we go again in the pistol. Joshua Perez working. Takes the snap, hands it off. Timmy Torres is going to gain a couple. 16th carry of this game. Hasn't been as effective here in the second half. The Wildcats have been stopped on offense by the Mountaineers defense. The Wildcats with the 3rd and long coming up. How will they respond? Joshua Perez in the backfield, his running back. Again, this time Grant breaking through, gonna get the 1st down and more, and there we go. Needed to respond. 13-yard reception there from Perez to Grant. So his 5th reception in the game puts him well over 130 receiving yards, and of course, first wide receiver in Toppenish High School history with 2,000+ career receiving yards in Jason Grant. And right there showing you why he is the type of player he is and why that young man has more than enough schools looking at him at this very moment. 4:52 remaining here in this 4th and final quarter of round 1 of the state championship playoffs here at the 1A level. Perez looking again. Torres turns back down, trying to make a play, and brought down near the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of around 2 yards. So 2nd down and about 14 to go. Joshua Perez being met with more heat in the backfield. Perhaps a little bit antsy after taking that big hit on his blind side. Here we go. Perez stepping back, clean pocket, having a run, making a play out of it, and sliding down smartly. It's going to gain a couple of yards on that scramble.
Joshua Perez on the carry. He takes it out to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 9.
So 3rd down and 9 to come. Not a lot of time remaining on that clock, so perhaps The Wildcats keeping that in mind. Want to gamble a little bit. And the Wildcats, I think, are going to call a timeout, run that clock down as much as they can, and get ready to put that one away if they do not get the conversion here. So timeout taken by the Wildcats. We'll take one ourselves here before 2 minutes. Toppenish, 4-point lead, 26-22. Can they make history? Move on to the next round of the state championship playoffs at the 1A level. We'll find out here after we come back. Here, coming to you live from Bellingham, Washington, inside Civic Stadium, only on the THS Digital Media Network. So welcome back here on the THS Digital Media Network. Third down and long. Can the Wildcats convert? Otherwise, they will have to punt this ball away. Joshua Perez checking where his players are, and then the referee going to signal them to go. Clean pocket. Trying to scramble out of there. Does it and throws it in. I believe that's a incomplete pass, but what's going to happen? They're going to call it a fumble. Oh, no. Oh, no. And a couple of players are down as well. And Joshua Perez with the mistake, and this is not looking good for the Wildcats. This game is so close. And Perez, of course, they're going to charge him with the turnover, so that is an official fumble. Kind of interesting as that arm was moving forward. And working on the player right now. He will be able to get back up to his feet. Whereas number 69, Rocco Clark, is gingerly walking off the field as his night might be over. And the Wildcats just not able to capitalize on that third down, and the worst thing you could do, turning the ball over. And the Wildcats going to have to do something special here to keep them out of the end zone. So a fumble by Joshua Perez in their own backfield gives the Baker Mountaineers a free offensive look. Beeson. Ball fumbled again! Sixth time here tonight. And again, this wet weather having an effect on both sides of the team. Beeson just having trouble with that snap all night, and he's trying to make sure his hands are nice and dry, but nothing working that well here today. Second down and 10 to go. Wildcats are going to have to earn every single second of this game, and it's going to have to be done on defense the way it's looking right now. Under center, Beeson again. Moving, traffic, George running and gets about 4 yards on that carry. Marcus George continuing to move. So here we go. 3rd down and about 6 yards to go. Wildcats are going to need to stay disciplined, know their assignments, and make a play when it needs to be made. Beeson again through the middle. And George getting another 3 yards or so. It's going to bring up 4th down.
Number 76, Tatum Sampson on the stop.
And timeout called by Mount Baker. We're underneath 2 minutes, so we're going to stick right with you here, folks. Wildcats, the sidelines, trying to get this sideline going. The Wildcats only leading by 4. So a touchdown will give this Mount Baker team the lead and hoping to keep them out of the end zone. And the only reason the Mount Baker Mountaineers are on this side of the field is because of an errant mistake there from Joshua Perez rolling out to his left. A lot of traffic, switching the ball in his hands and then attempting to make a pass. However, it's an interesting note that they did not call it an incomplete pass. As his arm was moving forward, ball fell to the ground, but the referees had already determined that it was coming out before he even let it go. And so it was ruled a fumble. And the Mountaineers, once again, 3 turnovers themselves here this game. The Wildcats with a couple of them themselves. 2 from Joshua Perez, so even apiece. Let's see who's able to make a play here tonight, here on this 4th down. 4th down and you win the game, essentially. But we'll see. It's going to take every ounce of the Wildcats defense to get them there. And they give them a free look. Penalty flag and 1st down. Unbelievable. So 1st down. It was 4th and 4. And the discipline right there, or lack thereof, showing up. And the Wildcats giving up free yardage. And the most important part, of 1st down. Let's see what the Wildcats are going to elect to do. Toss out, ball on the ground, trying to fall on it, and they do, sending them right back down to the 30-yard line. And that's the type of plays that this weather has been causing all night for both teams. Fumbles all over. That's going to be the 7th fumble, and again, the Wildcats keying in on that defense and offensive line read. Oh, incredible. And this is going to come, wait a minute. And here we go. 2nd down and long to go. No more downs after this. Oh, what a mistake there by the Mountaineers. Here we go again. King in. Ball dropped again. Trying to make a play to the field. And nothing coming. No flags. Thank you. Beeson just being met with a ton of pressure. The Wildcats have figured out where their real weak point is. And it's right there at that center, the quarterback exchange. The defensive lineman, the interior defensive lineman keying in on that, and of course the running backs as well, knowing very well that they're not going to run up the middle. But guess what? Slow coming out of the quarterback stance and out of the center to quarterback exchange, that's going to cause problems, especially in a game like this where it's raining, it's pouring, it's drizzling. 40 seconds remaining, 3rd down and long, 3rd down and goal, I should say. No, and again he dropped it, 7th drop. Scrambling. Trying to make a play, and falls down in bounds. That clock has to keep running, and finally a timeout called there by the sidelines. Elon Cripps, oh my. Like we said, folks, this game is going to come down to the final seconds, 38.8 seconds. There is no more time to go on offense for the Wildcats. It's either the defense gets the job done here tonight or it's the end of this playoff experience. Thank you for joining us from wherever you may be at. This is the THS Digital Media Network. And we're glad to have you from wherever you may be at. You may be in another state. You might be halfway around the world. But guess what? For these next 2 minutes, you are live here with us in Bellingham, Washington, inside Civic Stadium, looking at a first win in a long time if the Wildcat defense can hold. Oh my, what kind of reaction are we going to have here tonight if the Wildcats are able to hold? It's going to be third, it's going to be fourth down. So everything on the line, fourth down and goal. So no chance unless you, well, unfortunately, they have not been able to pass very successfully through the air, but it all comes down to this one play. One play, you hold on defense, and you get to move on to the next round. So here we go. Final play of this game. Incredible. Watch the quarterback to center exchange. And what happened here? It looks like I think it can hold. And another timeout here by the Mountaineers. And again, trying to regroup, trying to show what the Wildcats are going to show. And again, you can't take those timeouts with you after this game, so you're going to use them up all right now. Wow. Right now, we'd like to thank those of you just joining us. It's been a tough game for both teams. It's drizzling, it's raining. The ball for the Mountaineers, they have fumbled it 7 times, 7 mishandled quarterback to center to quarterback exchanges. The Wildcats themselves have committed turnovers. Joshua Perez with 2 turnovers himself. One of them on an attempted pass rolling out to his left, and the other one as he took a blindside hit standing in the pocket. But here we go. Pencils down, this capacity crowd on its feet, comes down to this one play. Who is going to take this one? This is going to be the final one, more than likely, for Mount Baker. Wildcats need to play smart. Don't make any unnecessary penalties that you don't need to make. Now, if you get beat, you can't make those. Stepping back, they're going to take a pass. Making it, pulling, and it's been intercepted. And Perez taking, and at some point, let's see if he's going to keep going. He's going to keep going. He keeps going. And finally brought down past midfield, and the Wildcats are going to win their first playoff game in 24 years. Oh, my! And the fans going ecstatic out here. The sidelines, everybody, four quarters of tough football. Now the Wildcats are going to kneel down, and they're going to move on to next week, facing a very tough Royal team. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this is history, folks. Thank you. From wherever you may be joining us, you are witnessing a first playoff win in over 20 years. 24 years to be exact. And what a game we've been treated to here tonight. And Joshua Perez taking the kneel down. And there you go. It was going to be tough all the way. And you bet next time that WIAA committee will never look down on this Wildcat team again. Should have been ranked higher. Should have been the other way around. They should have not needed to travel. But guess what? Now it's all over, and on to next week, the Wildcats will go. Oh, my Lord. What is state championship playoff football about? It's all about this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go over some short stats here for this game, this historic game. Cannot believe it. Wow. The Wildcats with the tough game came down to the last play of the game. It had to be a defensive stop, and indeed it was. Well, of course, only 3 touchdowns here tonight for the Mount Baker Mountaineers. None of them through the air, so no receiving touchdowns or passing touchdown from David Beeson to anybody. Jesse Sandy and Marquis George, the top rushers here, both of them with their own set of touchdowns. And that was the end of that for them on the offensive side. for the offense on Toppenish, well, you know it was another 200-plus passing yard game for Joshua Perez. And, of course, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, unfortunately 2 fumbles. And Timmy Torres with the rushing touchdown himself and 70 rushing yards. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been quite the game. Small one, eked it out, 26-22, 4-point win. We're going to move on to the next round, and we hope to see you there. Unfortunately, this will more than likely be the final broadcast of the football season here for THS Digital Media. So for everybody here, I'm Antonio Tony D. Dominguez, and of course the entire THS Digital Media crew. Phil Legary, of course, the wonderful leader of this great program there, as we're going to go off air looking at the celebration of the Toppenish Wildcats in their first playoff win in over 20 years. Anyways, stats wrapping up. 100-plus receiving yards for Jason Grant off 5 receptions and a touchdown. Shane Rivera having himself 86 yards receiving or so off 6 catches and 2 touchdowns himself. Main reason the Wildcats win here today. Anyways, folks, thank you for joining us. It's going to be a happy trip back. Thank you. This is the final broadcast of the football season here for the THS Digital Media Network. Make sure, like, subscribe, and follow, and never miss out on another THS Digital Media event. And, of course, if you're going to travel next week at Royal, check us out, check the stream, go look at the game in person. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Final score, 26-22 in favor of the Wildcats. Thank you for joining us. My name is Antonio Tony D. Dominguez, and we'll see you out there. Have a good night. God bless.